Let's see. Okay, it looks like it's going live. Okay, no business like show business on a special opportunity like this. And so, good. We are alive again for that briefly interrupted Passion Fridays. There was so much passion in the room, it
So
blew the
much
system up.
passion. Yeah.
It blew the system up.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so we're talking with Joy Booker Thornton about this exciting event that she has coming up on September 9th. Just about a little bit better than 80 spots left for those of you that want to have the drive-in experience in celebration of the memory of the great actor who recently passed away, more than actor, but great actor Chadwick Boseman. Uh, Joy, tell us a little bit more about your business, the different things that you do, the different events that you do, and you have, I think, a podcast or a Facebook show as well. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, one, I do not have a show on Facebook. I
Oh,
do have one on Instagram. I
I'm
do
sorry.
have one on Instagram. No, it's fine. It's called Glasses After Dark and Perspectives After Dark. So I do it on Tuesdays. Tuesdays at 9 o'clock, select Tuesdays and select Thursdays at 9 o'clock, where I do interview a various of wonderful and amazing people in the music industry. I've had people from Raheem Devon, Spliff Star, Anthony Hamilton, Carl Thomas, and a few others. And it's been amazing. I personally myself, I've been in the music industry forever, but as far as doing the interviews in my business, you know what? This pandemic has really brought um, a lot of change, I would say. A lot of people, I know they were saying, "Oh, this is 2020 vision, and I'm gonna, 2020," and that's exactly what it is.
Mhm,
You are up close and personal with the reality of
mhm,
your life,
mhm,
of everyone's life, of our decisions, of what we value. It has forced people to come home and look at their children and look at their spouses and look at their environment and fix it up and look at themselves. So
mhm,
yes, this is definitely a 2020 vision. We're looking at racism, we're looking at the functionalities of life and our systems. So um for me, it was a very a pivotal moment for me in my own life. My business, I started back in 2010. C2 Productions started. It's called Creating the Way Out,
okay.
and specializing in celebrity booking and event concept development. And I started when I was like 26, and woo. I was very spontaneous, I should say.
Mhm,
I was sitting at work. I was sitting at work. I had a job, and I had a very good job, and I just want, but I said, God, I know so many wonderful people, and I just want to help them. You didn't bless me with all these resources and connections for nothing. I want to be able to help them. I said, I don't want to carry them. I just want to create the way out. And he said, stop, write that down. And oh, sorry. And so when I wrote it down, it said CTWO. So that's how C2 Productions came about. And so I ended up, I was sitting at work. A young lady, I went on my break, and she said that she was celebrating her 40th birthday. And I said, well, why are you at work? And because I'm not working on my birthday,
okay.
period. I said, um, I said, why are you at work? And she said, well, I have to, get to the paper, understood. But then she said, this is also her 5th year anniversary. I said, oh, and she's going to get capped out. I said, well, what does that mean? She said, I won't be able to make more than what I make. She says they're capping me out at $13. I said, now, wait a minute. So you're 40 and you're going to get capped out at $13 unless you become a manager. Okay. And at that moment, I started looking around at everyone and I started seeing their faces. I began to just look and see the dreading and just the monotony. And I just started logging out of my applications. I said, well, God, say something, ring a bell, because I'm about to go. I said, if you can deliver Daniel from a lion's den, certainly you can help me start a business. I
Yeah.
said, I know at least one of them were hungry. So, I'm just, and I just started logging out, started Xing out of applications. I got to the last one. And I said, okay, Lord, say something because I'm about to leave. And so I said, okay. And I closed out of it and I didn't trip out the door or anything. So I just kept going. And I caught the bus home. I had $30 in my pocket, $30. And I caught the bus home. But while I was sitting at the bus stop, there was this couple. They seemed like they were, you know, rich in love. Okay. So they were older and they were at the bus stop with me. And just to see how loving they were with one another at the bus stop, I took that as a good sign.
Mhm.
And so I left, and I think about a week or two later, I got blessed with 10,000 cash to start my business,
Mhm.
and I lost it just as quick because I didn't had a lot of passion, a lot of to do itness, but I didn't have a lot of wisdom in
Mhm.
dealing with people,
Mhm.
um, especially in the hip hop and R&B industry.
Mhm.
So for me, it was I just wanted to share my good news. I'm like, I have this money and I want to do this and I want to help people and it's gonna be great. And I just was there. And people were like, oh, so you got this money. Oh, okay. So yeah. So they gave me advice and then would come back at me like, okay, you owe me in a consultant's fee,
Mhm.
$1,000. And I'm
Mhm.
like, well, you never said that you were going to charge me. You were just giving me advice.
Right.
Yeah, but your stuff could have went left if I didn't do this. So, then the threats, and I'm like, oh my God, what is going on here? But God. And I bumped my head a lot. So I know a lot of people like to jump into entrepreneurship. Have a blanket, have a parachute, have some cushion if you're gonna jump.
Mhm.
um, I don't regret my journey. I don't regret my path, but if I had an opportunity to do it all over again, I would have prepared
Mhm.
differently. That's
Mhm.
all.
Mhm.
So just be prepared for what you want. And is it more challenging? I think it's challenging either way. So, but it's better to be prepared for
Mhm.
those challenges than not to be. But
Mhm.
through it all, bumps and bruises. But in 2016, I took a really, really big hit. I
Mhm.
took a big hit that sent me left. I'm talking about, oh my goodness. I don't know if you want me to go this deep into things, but I won't. I don't have to. But I took a hit. I didn't. Huh?
Yes, yes. I'm
Oh.
looking around. I'm looking around at the different profiles. Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Okay. In 2016, I did an event with Little Kim. This is the first time I've ever spoken of this publicly. I did an event with Little Kim and Keisha Kior,
Mhm.
and it went horribly. I
Mm.
mean, anything that went wrong, could go wrong, did. I'm talking about it did, and it wasn't a great concept or anything like that. It's just that I had the way my vision works or worked. Um, I had it at Bert's Warehouse. Bert's Warehouse has an amazing space. It's
Mhm.
it's very spacious. It holds
Mhm.
2,500 people. It's space or 3,000 people or so. It's spacious,
Mhm.
and I wanted to transform it. And the vision that I had would have been amazing. The thing about it is that sometimes when people know something to be as it is, they don't give it an opportunity to be anything else.
Mhm.
So even though you may say it's going to be a transformation, other people have claimed to have transformations and all they do is throw, some balloons up in there or something
Mhm.
like that. So it's really, especially for Detroiters, it's really hard for people to see extraordinary because everyone just does the norm.
Mhm.
But so I had the concept though, and a lot of the business aspects, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. When God puts something in your spirit and it's no or a pause, listen.
Mhm.
Don't say something. And that's why it's so important to have a relationship with God, because you have to know what that is.
Mhm.
Because you can't say this something told me, or
Mhm.
I or I feel sometimes. You have to know that it's the spirit warning you.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because wisdom is subtle.
Mhm.
It's subtle. It's hey, it cries at the door. Don't do it. Stop.
Yeah.
And we think it means proceed with caution. No, stop.
Stop.
And and go see and go pray and go see what's going on.
Yeah.
Um, and it doesn't mean that God isn't blessing you in that area. It means that whatever you've encountered could trigger other things. And that's why it's so important to know who you're dealing with. That's why the Bible also says, know them that labor among you. There's
Mhm.
some people who are warring with God, and then you're bringing them into your situation, and you can
Mhm.
have mayhem.
Yeah.
So it's very important to know before you even get started, Lord, who do you want me to have? Who do you want as my assistant? Who do you want typing? Who do you want promoting? Who do you want? It's important to make him your business partner before anyone else.
That's a good.
And that's something that I would pray and use him as a weapon. Oh, no weapon formed against me shall prosper, because that's okay. I know they're trying to play me, but God, no, that's silly. If you know people are trying to play you and yet you still continue to do business with them, that's not smart at all, is
Yeah.
it?
No.
But we think we can beat them because we have the Lord on our side. And the thing is, don't play. Don't engage. Don't interact and expect a good outcome.
Yeah, I want to delve
So
more into this. You're right. I had not that you share any of your experiences necessarily with me, but I had not heard anything about this promotion with Little Kim to even have been invited to come. But I want to delve into that a little bit more. But I'm looking on LinkedIn. Daniel P. Young is saying preparation is key, saving up now for my future endeavors. Appreciate her open, genuine honesty. So I wanted you to hear that feedback on LinkedIn.
thank
Mike Ellison,
you.
Ann Lewis, Christopher Jordan, and Bentley Sings has joined us on Facebook. So go back. So Little Kim, how did this come about? That you were you the promoter for an event? You were the creator of the event. Tell us a
All of
little
the
bit more.
above.
Okay.
All of the above. So God has blessed me to have a lot of different relationships, and I've done them. I've worked for a lot of promoters. My thing was I never wanted to be a promoter myself. I never
Mhm.
wanted to be a promoter. What I wanted to do was bring concepts to to promoters to help them increase in sponsorship and advertisement. I felt that there was a strong need, or that they had a very great opportunity to make more money, to be more successful in
Mhm.
what they were doing, because I believed in them. I really did, and I thought that in doing the events, that it could impart a certain type of inspiration to the attendees.
Mhm.
Because I have to admit, when I've gone to various events, my eyes lit up. The treatment, the engagement, the processes, the run of show. It was so inviting and so welcoming
Mhm.
that it changed my perspective when I got home. It's like, oh, this is how I want to be. This is how I want to be. And so it made me seek out things in my jobs and just in my friendships.
Mhm.
Um, to just kind of get that same type of momentum that I received from those events. And I wanted to bring that the experiences that I've witnessed and that I've been blessed enough to have. I wanted to share that with other people.
Mhm.
And so I approached them. They really, some people are like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And
Mhm.
they just wanted to continue the way that they were. So they were like, well, prove it. If it works so well, then why don't you do it? But I didn't have the following. I didn't have the staffing. I didn't have any of the elements that they had. I only had, my proposals, my the vision, and the resources to help, kick it off for them. So
Mhm.
I gave it my shot, because don't put me to the test.
Right.
Okay. Because, but wisdom would say I wasn't ready for the test. So
Mhm.
you have sometimes you do have to silence that ego,
Mhm,
because the ego makes you move ahead of time.
mhm.
It makes you, so,
Yeah.
but if you don't
Jervis
know your, go ahead.
Jervis Canty is saying this, oh my God, this is confirmation for me. So a lot of the people are giving feedback about it being encouraging. So you didn't want to be a promoter, but for this event at Burt's Warehouse, for those that aren't in the Metro Detroit area, it is a large space. And so
Yeah.
you had a vision for bringing what to the space?
Well, what I wanted to do, I'm not, to be honest, I'm not big on rap. I like some rap. I like the rappers I like, but I know that other people like other things. So honest, to be honest, probably shouldn't be this honest, but to be honest, I use it as bait to create an environment that can educate and to connect. I'm
Mhm,
big on networking. I'm like,
mhm.
okay, you have this person has this. Let's bring that together. Let's gel that together. Oh, you have this wonderful personality. That'll go great with this person I know over here who has this, who doesn't have the great personality. You're the key. So
Mhm.
that's what my business is, creating the way out. I link people. And so unfortunately, if you tell a person, hey, I'm having a networking event, the likeliness of people wanting to just come is not as high, and it's kind of like you're almost preaching to the choir.
Right.
So it's like you really want to get people who really have great talents and link them up with people who have great knowledge,
Yeah.
and gel it, so that's what I wanted to do through these events. But you have the people who do have that great knowledge, like, oh, that's beneath me. And then
Right.
you have people who have the great talent who's like, oh, yeah, let's, they have their own perception. So I had to really become strategic in
Mhm.
how to combine it all together. And
Yeah.
so with this particular event, I wanted to include vendors and provide opportunities for opening acts for different talents. I
Mhm.
think we have a lot of wonderful people that are great artists that just don't have the opportunity. And so I wanted to give them an opportunity, but what I would do behind the scenes was too much. I mean, from rehearsals, I would do live band rehearsals, and I would, hire a band to play behind these people. I would provide them with clothing and haircuts, and because they really weren't polished. So I
Yeah.
had to get them ready. Same thing with the models. I had like 30 models, and I'm giving each and every one of them a photo shoot,
Mm,
because I wasn't able to, just pay everyone out of pocket. I'm still trying to raise the money. But
right.
I'm like, what I can give is things that you wouldn't have to pay for. So you do need headshots. I'll give those to you for free. You need clothing for those shots as well. So I'll provide those as well. So I reached out to different sponsors to donate for those outfits. So I did a lot. Then I would give them food and hotels. You guys don't have to get dressed at home. Come to the hotel, and I'll make sure you guys have a jacuzzi suite. You guys can stay there the night before. I was doing too much, okay?
Well,
Because
I love all of that you were doing though, because that's really the work of artist development. It's that
that's
A&R
the work
development.
of Puff Daddy. Okay, I didn't have a Puff Daddy budget.
I understand. I understand. But you have a Puff Daddy heart. And you like me, HR Passion, that's what we're about. It's where people and their passions intersect. I love connecting people to things that make them passionate or things they're passionate about. So I so relate to that, and having this vision, this Herculean vision with this, Walmart budget. No diss to Walmart because I'm going to be asking them for some money probably because I'm thinking before I forget it,
Taco Bell budget.
Joy, you're doing this big event in Novi, which I think is great. It is kind of a ode to the drive-in. Some
Hmm.
people grew up on drive-ins. Have you thought about approaching people like Walmart who have these large spaces, spacious parking lots, and bringing the movie there? Because I heard Walmart did one initial movie, but if you took all of Chadwick Boseman's movies and moved them around to different places, maybe some of these places would give you some sponsorship dollars.
You know what? I actually have that's a great idea, but I actually one of which Chadwick Boseman, all of his well, most of his big movies are under Disney.
Okay.
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 Disney is not playing any
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
Okay. Netflix had to get it removed. Amazon Prime, there, Amazon Prime may have one but Disney right now is housing it all.
Yeah.
And so it's so to get the clearance is almost like virtually impossible. So the movies that we do have available, like Get On Up, 42nd, 42, those are the ones that, we can show without any issues with
Gotcha.
Disney.
Gotcha.
So, but that's a great idea. As time progresses, as God continues to bless, I do have some amazing opportunities available that I do want to incorporate, those major corporations, but it's not just necessarily about the name anymore. I'm into supporting people who support people,
Yeah.
and that's one of the things that I had to learn when I took my hit in 2016. 2016, like I said, the Little Kim event. Just to fast forward, I went $36,000 in debt. Okay, 36,000 in debt, and then the backlash itself cost me 100. So when I
So
say,
let me ask you this: the 36,000 in debt, was that part of all of the things you were describing that you went
oh my,
above and beyond? And I mean, because it sounds like you laid it out to where people, was like, I'm a star. I would have felt like I was a star if you put me in a jacuzzi suite and said, okay, you don't have to get dressed at home, and I'm going to put the band together for you, and I'm going to get you a gold mic. I'm just embellishing now, but I'm going to get you a
but
gold mic. I wonder, was it
I,
part
I
of that?
did. I actually had Swarovski crystal mics made for the artists, and more than you can know. And I'm going to speak on the business aspect to anyone that is listening in business, and you're trying to. I don't care what type of business it is. I'm going to be very transparent and honest with you. Um, when you're doing a deal, and everything has to do with you. It has nothing to do with the other person. We always look to blame other people, because I did for a while. I was heated, very upset.
Mhm.
But the fee for Kim, and this is my business, so I can speak about whatever how I want to. But the fee for Kim, first it was going to start off at 17.5, and then it went to 20, and then it went to 25,000 plus 5 flights, 5 hotels. Um, 2016 Rolls Royce, a 2016 Cadillac. Now, I had her vehicle sponsored at first, and then like 2 days before the event, the manager called me and said, "Oh, I gave him all the rundown. I sent him everything." And he was like, "Oh, well, what about the cars?" I said, "Well, I sent that to you. I have her vehicle sponsored." He said, "No, you have to have a 2016 Rolls Royce." I said, "Well, we already got our vehicles. It's already set." And he's like, "No, I mean, you don't want her to leave, do you?" I'm like, "Well, what do you mean she can't? Like, look, I'm just trying to help you out, So kind of like that manipulation, back you into a corner type of thing. So that cost me an extra 3,000, which I needed for other things. Okay.
Mhm.
And so from there, paying for that, I didn't really have the funds for radio advertisement, because people really just, when they heard about the event, they just decided to say, "Hey, listen, oh, she's got money. We're going up on the prices." Even Burt's Warehouse, they did. We started at one price, and it just kept going and kept going. So, you know, um, sometimes when the enemy knows that you're desperate, don't be desperate. Be able to know to walk away. It's better to walk away with a little bit of loss than to try to do something that's becoming out of hand and suffer a very big loss. And the thing about it is, it may not have been a loss if I had just stopped and consulted with God. And the thing is, it happened to me a couple of years prior too, but sometimes you think that was that moment.
Mhm.
That is not actually happening again. You better know what tests are.
Mhm.
You better know what they are. So
Mhm.
that's why entrepreneurship has a lot. You have to know about the business you're in as well. You also have to know about the people that you're dealing with. And then you also need to know who you are, your insecurities, where you're coming from. So because if you have something to prove, people always like, oh, prove people wrong. Mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. Prove the word of God correct. That you're more than a conqueror, that that you can walk through green pastures. Don't prove people wrong, because if you're doing things with that type of motive, um, arrogance, pride can come in. Pride comes before the fall. So you have to be able to know what you're doing it for. Challenges are great, but not when other people are challenging you. Don't
Mhm.
look at the circumstance as the challenge, not the person
Okay.
that's challenging you. Okay.
Mhm.
Especially if it's something that you need. Because if it's something that you need, God has already given it to you. It's yours.
Yeah.
You ain't got to fight. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
And so 36,000 in the hole, that was for the event, I guess, to settle up the event. You had to go in the hole, and then
Nope.
a hunt. Oh, go ahead. And then 100,000.
From the
Uh,
backlash.
so legal and other kind of things.
So what happened was, I gave little Kim 15,000 up front. I gave her 15,000 up front. And then her man, because it was only supposed to be 12.5 when you're doing 25,000. It's supposed to be 12.5. So I gave 15,000 up front, paid for 5 flights. 3 of them were first class, 2 coaches.
Mm.
Then the 5 hotels, they were all suites. Then then the extra 3,000 for the vehicles. Then the day of, they were like we need a glam squad and all, it was massages. It was just so crazy. Then of course I still had Keisha Kior, who she did her own thing, booked another side gig the same day. But me and the person she did book it with, we had to come to an understanding, because that just wasn't going to happen. But they did their own thing as well. So it was like everyone was doing their own thing. They knew I was kind of by myself on this. So people, if they see an opportunity for them to win in multiple ways, they're going to take it. When
Mhm.
you don't, and people call it business, but I just call it, some people just lack integrity. You know what I'm saying? So that's all it is. So anyway, long story short, um, I was starting to become short, because like even the setup for, I had did Andre Drummond's birthday party on a Princess boat for his
Mhm.
21st birthday.
Mhm.
And I was using the same crew that I used for that. It was beautiful. An 8-hour party that I put together in 2 weeks. Okay. 2 weeks, and paid
Mhm.
for myself. Anyway, so I was using the same guys. They came in with all this black furniture. Everything said they double booked, and oh, they'll, have my back on the next event. So when people were seeing the setups, it was not how I described. They wanted their money back. So I was losing money before the event was even getting it going. So her manager Fendi, he came to the club, because we're almost at midnight now. Everything is going crazy. I gave him 5,000 when he came, so now we're at 20,000. I still owed five. I said, "Well, listen, you can sit here in the booth with my dad and collect the money. Just give me some time. You see, I'm at my wits end here. I'm just trying to get this thing going. Okay, I got 30 models. I have these artists performing. My decor is not how it's supposed to be. I did not have the staff that I needed to really pull this off. So, and people were letting people in for free. It was just chaotic. Okay. It was very chaotic. And that's just a lack of structure on my end, a lack of preparation on my end. I can't really put the blame on anything. It's just on anyone else. But it was, when you're the head, you're the head. If somebody played me, I hired them.
Mhm.
If they didn't do their job, I chose them.
Mhm.
If the celebrity played me, I hired them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but when you take on that responsibility and that accountability, what takes place is that you become very careful of how you move forward. So when you know that everything is on you, you don't
Mhm.
just say yes just because it sounds good. You're going to investigate. So anyway, and you're going to have your paperwork and lawyers together. Anyway, long story short, I hate when people say that, and you know what? The story ends up being long anyway.
Okay.
But but so what happened after that was he sat in the booth with my dad. I left to go to the hotel. And I wanted to see if I could talk to little Kim to see if she would just come. She doesn't have to perform, but just come, okay? And then because I was still short five.
So
And
wait, so
so
she was not on site
at the venue, she was at the hotel still.
and the event was going on, but she
Right.
wasn't coming because she wanted to have her full amount by the time she came to the event.
Right, which is agreed. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? She actually was supposed to have it at the airport, but it was just, I was just running short.
Okay.
So, um, so what happened was I went to the hotel and I called up to the room, but Keisha and Kim switched rooms. So, figured that out. Called, I asked to, I said, listen, is it okay if I come up and speak to Kim? A guy answered the phone. I said, can I come up and speak to Kim about a couple of things? He said, okay. Next thing I know, as I was going upstairs, my phone rings. It's Fendi. He says, "Oh, so you're gonna go behind my back and try to go behind my back?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "I know what to do," and hung up on me. And so I called back. He wouldn't answer. So I called someone who was at the event. I said, "Hey, see if you can, get Fendi." She said he's walking onto the stage. I said, well, get him. She said, I can't. He's too far away. I said, well, try. She said, I can't. I said, try. She said, he's walking onto the stage. I said, stop him. She said, I can't. And then next thing I know, I hear over the microphone, the promoter isn't paying anyone. Little Kim isn't coming. And it was chaos from there.
Goodness.
It was, yeah, it was chaos. And I just paused. Tear came down my face, and I just hung up the phone from her. And then here comes the calls. It was just, I didn't know what to do. I called my dad. I said, get out of there. I said, get out of there. I said, get out, because he in the money booth. Get out. I don't, then I'm about to bum. My daddy's 70 some years old. Get out. I'll deal with this later. He said, no, Joy, just come. Dad, now normally I listen to my father. I'm very obedient. Not this time. Dad, get out of there. And it was just so bad. I heard fights broke out. I mean, it was disastrous. And then someone suggested, well, I still have Keisha come. I had forgot she was even there. I forgot she was even in town because it was just so much going on. No disrespect or anything, but it was just so much going on that my mind was just kind of all over the place because Kim was the heavy hitter and it was important to me. I like some of Kim's songs, and I was ready to rap with her the whole nine. But but you know what? Something that the manager kept saying to me, he said, because when he kept going up on the price, he said, well, if you can't do it, then don't do it. If you can't handle it, don't do it. And of course I took that as that challenge. I took it
That you
like,
did.
oh no, oh no, I'm gonna make it happen because God, that's what I'm saying. We like to use God as this weapon when He's given us wisdom,
Mhm,
and that's not right.
mhm,
Where God did, He did protect me because
mhm,
people have lost their lives
mhm.
over less, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And for me, I owed a lot of money. A lot of
Mhm.
people invested, and I was responsible for that. And I didn't have a dime, and I didn't know what to say. And so when it was over, you know, um, like I said, it was just chaotic. I went up to the room. My staff came, and they were like, "So what are you gonna do?" I said, "I'm going to sleep." They said, "What?" Normally, I would be trying to, I said, "I'm tired. I'm going to sleep." And I laid down and I went to sleep. I said, y'all welcome to stay. But I turned my phone off. I said, I'm going to bed. I had nothing left. I had nothing left. I couldn't pray. I couldn't. It's like when you've had so many disappointments, and whew, I had nothing left to give. I was tired.
And,
I
and
was
and so in that moment, I mean, the event has gone the opposite of what you had planned. In that moment, were you thinking that you were never going to do this again? What were you thinking in that moment?
I didn't think I could go to the grocery store to get an event.
Mhm,
I'm like, I got an angry mob.
mhm,
Okay. I mean, a whole angry mob. You have people who did purchase tickets. You have people who vendors. You have, it was a lot. I mean, I just, it wasn't any more about my business. It was more about my life, my livelihood, just, and I literally for months, this happened in April. This was like April 2nd or April 3rd or so from
mhm,
2016. And I couldn't, I couldn't function. I mean, I would wear hoodies and glasses going to the gas station, and because I was just afraid. I didn't know what was going to happen. People wanted their money. I couldn't go to my office because people, knew where my office was. I just, it was just so overwhelming at that moment. And for want to be a woman, and not to cop out on that, but just to be a woman, and you have men who are ready to, talk about where my money. I'm like, I ain't trying to get shot. This ain't no movie. Set it off, and you know what I'm saying. Like we go, it was a scary feeling. I didn't want to bring it to my mother. I didn't want to bring it to my parents. I really didn't have anyone to rely on. And but God,
mhm,
and when I tell you, I said, okay, my main focus was get the money. So let me work. So I said, let me work a couple of other events to get the money, and then I'll be able to, pay people back, And so I'm like, all right, cool. Okay, I got a strategy. I've always worked with Shane Park. I used to work with Shane Park quite often doing sponsorship and advertisement with them. So I said, hey, you guys, season's coming up. Let's get it going. They're like, okay, no problem. Then one of my investors, he just wasn't satisfied with waiting, and he began to slander me on social media. And it was so bad that I couldn't work for the upcoming season.
mhm,
And it was, I mean, he did it every day for months, every single day for months. And I'm just like, hey, listen, when I'm trying to get the money, if I can't work, I can't pay you. So allow me to get this done. And he did not care. Other investors tried to talk to him. He didn't care. He didn't. And you know what? It took me some time to know that God allowed it to happen, because I said, well, Lord, is this happening? I'm trying to do this, but God had to sit me down. He had to stop me because of the decisions that I was making. And as long as he kept allowing me to get up, I would continue to make the same mistakes. So he had to make it so loud, so forceful, because I have a lot of tenacity myself. So, but he had to make it where I could not do it. So I said, okay, fine. You stopped me from working in Detroit. I know people in other states. I never left, but I can still do what I do in other states. That man found everywhere that I was. I mean, I don't know how he found the IP addresses, but I found out he used to work for the military, so I think he got a lot of my stuff illegally. See, know them that labor among you. You better know who you're dealing with, because people out here got a lot of things going on, and you don't know where their mental is. You
mhm,
know what I'm saying? You don't know what they've been through, because he after everything settled, he informed me that people told him that he shouldn't have invested or whatnot. And he had his own, no, I think this is going to be great because of what he wanted. And then when it went left, he had to prove they're not going to get over on me. So every time, so other people that have done him wrong in the past, I got it. So all the payback that he should have given out to others, it fell on me. But not should have, that he may have wanted to. And so it was hard. It was really hard, because I mean, he used to make memes. Some of them was kind of funny. I ain't even gonna lie. Some of them was kind of funny. I'm like, dang, he did get me there. But because I mean, I'm realistic. I'm a logical person. So if it's funny, it's funny. But I mean, it still hurt
right,
nonetheless.
right.
But it was devastating to my business. It was devastating to my confidence. It was devastating to everything. I mean, I was literally on the verge of suicide. I mean, I'm like, I can just jump off a bridge, but I was like, oh Lord, if I make it, then I'm crippled and paralyzed, and that ain't gonna work. So I just said, you know, and it's crazy how I can laugh about it now, just 4 years later. But I was so weighed down and burdened with things that I couldn't even lift my hand past my waist up to heaven to kind of reach out. It was a very, very dark time for me because I just didn't, I really did not see how I could work again. I did not see how I was going to be able to move past this point. It was too loud. Little Kim is a big artist, you know. They all took to their own social medias, and I just, it was embarrassing. It was humiliating. However, um after everything kind of settled, after, and it didn't settle, but I started getting some fight in me, because that's one thing I didn't have in the sense of dealing with other people. I would just say, okay, well, that's all right. With this guy, I said, hey, listen, we're starting to do defamation of character. So if you keep going, I'm gonna have to sue you, And so after that, God allowed him to stop, and we came up to an agreement, and then that was that. Okay. So I can't mention his name or anything like that because of, of our legal agreement. But after he stopped, 2017, I'm like, okay, God, we can get it going. We can come on, Jesus. I didn't learn my lesson. I got pregnant for the first time with my first child. Now, I was celibate for 5 years, but I was still at a low point. Met a guy in the milk aisle, almost became lactose intolerant. Okay. And honey, whatever the enemy didn't get from me from that event, he tried to get it with this situation over here. And I said, you know what? I said, nah, Lord, nah, Lord. You know me, I'm not even that maternal. So I'm barely able to take care of myself. I'm in debt. How am I gonna take care of a baby? I don't believe in abortion. So, but I said, you know what? Lord, you're just trying to scare me. I understand. I didn't think I was, listen here, she's two. I didn't think it was gonna go all the way. She's two. But it was the most amazing blessing for my life because having her made me reevaluate myself. It made me have to care about me first. Because if I lacked, that means she's lacking. And I wasn't going to let her take a fall because I'm dealing with some knuckleheads out here. So that's not going to happen. So God knows, see what the enemy try to make for your demise and for evil and stuff, God turns it around for our good. I'm sure you're probably getting a lot of comments.
I'm looking. Jervis Canty is saying, "Wow, I love this interview. I so needed this morning. I always fought my plans because of my faith and not God's ability. He gave me the plan. I'm doing it." So yes, I got people that are commenting and saying, "Wow, yeah."
Well, I didn't expect this for Friday.
That's what Passion Fridays are about. It's about people that are passionate, and your story is passionate because. And we appreciate your transparency, Joy. Your story is passionate because it's something that you had the grace to do, but some of the things around it weren't aligning. And maybe God was telling you, hold up, wait. And sometimes we can operate solely in our passion without considering God or wisdom or any of the things that are informing us that we should wait, we should learn more, we should slow down, we should stop. We kind of ignore those signs because we're so passionate about it. And that's part of the caution of living in the center of your passion, right? You got to still pay attention to the signs. You can live in flow, but that doesn't disengage any of the signs that God has placed along the pathway, because now you're in flow. You're in the ease of what you do. You're in the master of your talent. You know how to do this. You know how to handle people. You know how to build something. But you still have to pay attention to the signs, because if you just operate in flow, or in passion, you'll miss important signs. And it brought to us some important, tough lessons for you, but I think important lessons for our viewers to hear who are all wanting to hustle and wanting to move on that initiative and wanting to move forward in the passion, that there are signs that you do have to make sure you don't ignore. So I think,
And oh, absolutely. You know what? It's not just about p- things are in segments. And I
mhm,
think that's what people miss. People try to overall things. It's
mhm,
not always just oh, I want to buy a building and the building is out of budget. Well, the thing about it is, one, did God give you that building? Did God say that this was the building for you? Okay. Now, the thing about it, and the thing is not coveting. You have to pay attention to that, to his word. So I remember I had a few years before that event, because I had a slew of just events that just didn't go well because of the lessons that I had to learn. Um, but one of the lessons was I said, Lord, I'm not doing another event till you bless me with an office. I said, I'm not doing anything. I'm not calling, I'm not texting, I'm not doing an email, I'm not doing anything. I'm gonna watch TV until you bless me with the office. Period. Nobody's coming to my house anymore. And I did. I watched Leverage all seasons. The movie Leverage is very good. I mean, the series Leverage is a very good series. And I watched it, Burn Notice. I watched every episode there was to watch. I said, I'm not doing until you bless me with the office. Now, the thing is, my god brother called me. He said, Hey, Joy, I want to take you, he said, I want you to come see the studio. Oh, they're doing great things over there. Yeah, great. That's wonderful. Yeah, no, I'm not really doing any of that right now, but thank you. A couple of weeks later, call me back. Joy, listen, I want you to come and see this place, man. I mean, it's dope. They're about to do this big studio. I mean, you could probably do your interviews. I hadn't done interviews in years. He's like, oh, you're going to do your interviews? I said, oh, wow. Yeah, that's great. Because I told God, I'm not doing anything until you bless me with the office. So then the third time he called, see, God moves. He works. He said, Joy, I want to take you to lunch. Well, okay. You know, that was we can do. So I got dressed for lunch. And then when I got in the car, he said, But first I'm gonna take you by this place. Okay. So I said, Oh, so you just tricked me. But God knew how to get me, got me the lunch. So I went to the place, it was near my house. And I said, it's a nice building. And I walked in, I was like, it's really nice. And then it had cubicles and everything. And I said, Lord, this is the type of built office that I would want. And so as I was there, I was meeting with people and they were sharing with me their ideas, and I gave a few of mine. And the person who was running it asked me, did I want to, have an office there in exchange for doing, some things? And I said, well, sure, not a problem. So I ain't got to pay for it either. Just do what I normally do. All right. And then things kind of worked out where she ended up leaving and I began to run the building for 2 years. And it was, I mean, God gave me all of it, everything. And so sometimes God is ready to give us things, but because we're so stuck on waiting on God that we don't even know, because the guy was calling me to tell me that this is available. But what's for you is for you. God didn't allow him to let up. So, and he ain't no super Christian at all. In fact, he stay high most of the time. But God, whatever is inside of him, God was able to use him to get to me.
yes,
And so that's what I'm saying. But even though I had the office, now what? You still need a team. You still need the functionality. You still, you know what I'm saying? So, and I had the office when I did the little Kim event. So it's not about an office. It's not about having bodies. And let me tell you all about this team real quick, and I'm gonna jump to whatever question you have. But when picking your team, it's not about people who are willing. It's about people who are willing and qualified.
mhm,
Okay? Just because someone is a great secretary to their pastor does not mean they're going to be a great secretary or assistant to you.
mhm,
Okay? And the thing about it is because they may have a passion for their pastor, they may support their pastor, they may be trying to get accolades, they may be trying to do whatever, whatever. I'm not saying anything bad, but I'm just saying they may be trying to get brownie points. They may try to be whatever, the finance person that you don't know. There's a reason why they're a great assistant to that person.
Mhm.
Don't believe that just because they're great there, that they're going to be great with you.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So therefore, not only that, or that you've not been knowing a person so long and you know how they cut, that they can handle things, because you got to understand, people will work just because people know how you're cut does not mean that they're going to respect you enough to operate in the fashion that you would want them to operate. Some people get a position of power and feel, oh, oh, that's my friend. Oh, and she told me, no, tell, if I say, hey, tell them they can't do any of that now. Of course, I'm always going to say, now, of course, this is not allowed. This is not how we do the procedure. That's how Joy would handle it. And but you know that's how I would handle it. But I'm gonna tell you, tell them I said no, cut it out, it's over, it's done, and that's it. That's not how you're supposed to convey that. But because you're you and you think you have the authority to do all of that, now we have a conflict that I don't know anything about. And so I'm like, did you tell them? Yeah, I told them. What did they say? They ain't say nothing. They said, okay, all right, cool. So you're thinking it's handled, not knowing that it was very much mishandled. See what
Mhm.
I'm saying? So you really have to pay attention to the people that you're dealing with. You have to interview them. I don't care who they are. This is your stuff. You're responsible. If they are offended by it, then guess what? They're not the ones to be working anyway.
Mhm.
Okay? Because if they can't respect your authority and your position, then they're not going to respect anything else after that anyway.
Yeah.
So I had, you want people who understand order, who respect order, who have the same values that you have, because that can destroy your business. So I just wanted to share that.
I think that was great for entrepreneurs and everybody to hear. So thank you for sharing that. I want to go back to your event as we move forward to almost to a close. I want to go back to your event that you're having on September 9th. Tell us again how people can reach you to be involved in that event, how people can follow you on your social media outlets to see what Joy Booker Thornton is up to and doing. So share us with that information with us again.
Absolutely. Okay, so next Wednesday, this is a free event, so we don't have any issues. Okay, but this is a free event. It's going to be at the Imagine Theaters in Novi, and the flyer, you can see it all over social media on Instagram. I'm at Lady J, LADY, the letter J, C, the number two, CEO on Instagram. On Facebook, I'm just Joy Booker Thornton. So, and here he has it here. The flyer is there. So, yes, we're going to be celebrating the legacy, the wonderful legacy of Mr. Chadwick Boseman. And we're going to be showcasing maybe one or two of his best films. And this starts Wednesday at 7 p.m. The movie starts at 8. Okay. So all you need to do is RSVP your vehicle because it is a drive in setup. So all you have to do is RSVP. You can RSVP by email, which is jb-thornton, THORNTON at outlook.com, or the easy way by cell phone, 313-469-3410. Just text your full name and your email address, and we'll get you registered. I think I have about roughly under 90 slots available. Okay, so please, I'm getting RSVPs as I'm speaking, so thank God for that. But we're only able to have 230 vehicles, and all 230 vehicles are going to be sponsored. So I'm really excited. And we're going to do an attire. So the attire is all black with a splash of purple just to represent what he's done, the color scheme that he's himself has worn. So that's what we're going to be doing. We want the pictures to be there. So definitely come out, enjoy, bring your family. One of the movies that we're going to show is Get On Up. So I don't, kind of be, you know, um, considerate of the age, your kiddies and things of that nature. So I don't know if you want your 5-year-old to see a James Brown reenactment, but that's up to you. So I just wanted to kind of let it be known that. But I think we're gonna have an amazing time. He is a man of he was a man of integrity and tenacity. And we just want to show in our own way here from Detroit that we appreciate what he brought to not only the main screen, but to the Black culture. So, and we thank him for having the courage to do so, and to push past all of his own obstacles and challenges and trials to do it well. So we just want to go and celebrate that moment with him at the Imagine Theater. So hopefully you guys can come out.
Thank you, Joy Booker Thornton, and we celebrate you and your tenacity
Thank
and
you.
your story. Thank you for sharing your passionate story. And my hope is that
Absolutely.
other entrepreneurs will learn lessons and will be encouraged and inspired to press through whatever lessons that might happen. As we close, can you tell us look right into that camera and tell us one thing you would have entrepreneurs to know as a great lesson that you've learned that might align with the spirit of excellence and greatness or tenacity, as you have described Chadwick Boseman?
Hmm. What I would say is to know who you are in God. Um, because honestly, when you know who you are in Him, then He can trust you with His secrets. He can trust you with how to navigate. And because you're not allowing other people to define you, you're being defined by who He created you to be. And when you're able to stand on that, you can face anything. You can walk on water, you can walk through fire, you can go through fire, you can do those things. So, um, outside people, I know sometimes you want that encouragement. What do you think I should do? What do you think I should do? What do you think I should do? When it's time for you to have consultants, God will send them to you. He'll send them to you. Okay. You don't have to, you seek Him. You don't seek people, you seek Him. And if He tells you, if you put something in your spirit to call someone, then you do so. But don't just do it because you know they're available and you're having this expectation that people are going to understand what He's given you. It
Mhm,
is yours. There,
mhm,
people are only going to advise from their perspective.
mhm,
Very few people are able to advise by the situation at hand.
mhm.
Most advise from their own experiences, which is what you don't want, because if all they keep hitting is brick walls, that's what you're going to believe. So if you know who you are in God and you know who He is in you, you'll develop a relationship that will allow you to be able to overcome anything that you're dealing with. Not only did God, I told y'all about the bad, but not only did God bless me in such a way. I mean, I went from $100,000 in debt to 20,000. Okay, in 2 years. And when I tell, and I'm not gonna say four because I was broke the first two, but in 2 years, He allowed me to knock off a lot of my debt, to overcome, to build, to reestablish relationships, and even gave me better ones. And even what I have come that's coming that God just blessed me with. I just met with CeeLo Green while I was in Atlanta. Me and Paul went out there, and we have some amazing things that are coming. So where I may have lost a little bit, it wasn't a loss, and God can even restore. So that's what I'm saying. I asked Him this go round, you be my business partner. I'm not making a move without you. I'm not doing anything without you. If you ain't in it, I'm not gonna do it. It ain't gonna work no way. So when you know who He is, I mean, you can do whatever else, read the self help. I'm not saying none of those things aren't great. What I'm saying is the source of your strength is Him. The source of your wisdom is Him. He can just give it to you. You might have to read a book for 45 minutes or 3 hours when He can just give you the wisdom. So that's my advice. Trust
Thank you.
Him.
Thank you so much. I'm so
Thank you
glad.
for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming.
Thank
And I wish you
you.
much success in this venture and every other venture. And I hope that you're able to realize all of those ideas. CeeLo Green, the best is yet to come. So thank you
It
so
is.
much,
Thank
Joy
you.
Thornton. Follow her on IG, where her show is on IG. I said Facebook earlier, but it's IG, Instagram, for those that may say IG, Instagram. And you can, the information on the flyer, I'll drop that in the comments on all of the platforms just so that you'll have that information as well. Much success to you and thank you for being with
Thank
us today.
you.
Thank you
God
so
bless
much.
you and thank you so much. All right. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
And that's our show. We had a little bit of interruption, but you don't want to have missed the first part if you're just joining us in the second part, or the second part if you joined us in the first part. We'll try to merge them together through some editing, but Joy Booker Thornton is a great example of being passionate and being open to learning the lessons that that passion might bring you to. And some of them are tough lessons about running a business, being a mother, being a woman, being a man, being a person, whatever the lessons that faces your life are brought to your life can be tough lessons. But passion and wisdom and fortitude can help you to forge your way through them all. And so join Joy Booker Thornton and any of her efforts, like I said, on IG, the email information, the tribute to Chad with Bozeman. I hope that you will use this information and share it widely to inspire someone else to live in the center of their passion, but not to ignore the signs along the way. Have a grateful day. I'm Marcus Holmes, the HR Passion Guy. We'll see you soon.